Victoria, you finished the first part about her consumer behavior. So if everyone can check that out, I've been reading through and if I can help out in wordings. So far, it looks awesome. Katerina, have you had a chance to check this out?
Yeah, I was working on it. It started to panic because I was like, I didn't know we agreed to do it by tonight, but I'm working on it. So
Okay.
for the market segmentation, I put, do they have to all like kind of like be the same category, like age, you know, under 24 or, and then, you know, over 24 and then over 26, or kids, do they have kind of be like different parts? Because originally I thought, well, when I looked it up, it said most of the market is high income, and then there's senior age with no kids and fitness enthusiasts. So should I just
so that's like
go off of
that's
that?
like 3 different markets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but those are 3 different themes.
I would go off of that, the 3 market segments.
Okay, because I also found a breakdown of, you know, like if we want to go by male, female, age, race, how much they make in a year. I just put high income. Seems to be more like 60 to 125. And then there's also like a breakdown, like no college, and advanced degrees. So I just didn't know if we could be like random and sporadic, or if we have to take just one category and break it down into 3 different sections. Does that make sense?
About that, when I typed Dave Killer's Brad consumer behavior, it actually brought up a couple of graphics. I don't know if you were able to find that, but there was the software that made graphics for the graphs for demographics of the David Killer's Brad. So that might help you.
Yeah, that's what I have pulled up.
Oh,
so
you
that's
found
why
it?
I'm asking. Yeah, that's why I'm asking what you guys want me to focus on. Do you want me to focus on like high income, senior age, and fitness enthusiasts, or do you want me to like break down just one category, like age, gender?
I think age and gender would be a really good one because there's a lot to write about age. So that would be a good one because I found out that usually young people are the ones that are most willing to pay for healthy products because they want to like have nice bodies and stuff. So if you can focus on age and gender, you might have a lot to write about it. It would be easier to write about it, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, because it was like younger than 24, and then a little bit in the age 25 to 34, and then again it takes a big jump into 65 up. So that would be senior age.
Yeah, so like John said, focus on those 3 that it already calls out, and then with Victoria's comment, with whatever ages we want to throw in toward the end, let's do that.
Okay.
In our lesson next week on lesson 5 for our group meeting, they gave us a sample thing to talk about those segmentation and demographics. Did you guys look ahead at that? I think we're almost ahead of where we're supposed to be in the class and preparing for the presentation, because it seems like each week they give us a little section to focus on. But that's in the week 5 prepare your discussion guide instructions.
Yeah, I haven't read that yet. I mean, I looked ahead in the textbook to see about my sections, and I just read up on them, but I haven't gone ahead in the lesson.
I was just saying I don't think you have to stress about it, because it seems like we'll get some more insight through the next week's information on how to best break things up. I don't know if it's worth waiting or it's just good to get it done, obviously, but
yeah, because I just took the sample. Yeah, I just took the sample, and then I was trying to market it because the sample is for textbooks, and so I'm trying to change it for Dave's Killer Bread. So I just need kind of the headlines on what we want to focus on, and then I can break those down and do that, and then write my explanation. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like we're ahead of the game, which is good. It's not due till week 6, so we don't need to obviously freak out and try and crank out a paper on this weekend and then and then not have it as good as it needs to be because we don't have all the information.
Yeah. You're right. Actually, it is week 6. The professor earlier said week 5, so that's probably why we were freaking out earlier.
Yeah.
And then the other question I had was for our interviews. Do we just use the questions that were used before, or do we make up our own questions, or how does that work?
That I think is what's happening in number 5 and lesson 5 is like that's where we're getting our discussion guide from. Because that's where all the interview questions are asked. So then the screener asks like, what kind of bread do you buy? And then depending on what they say, you might ask interview questions. So that's the sample depth interview report that's posted on lesson 5. So I think that's what we maybe this week need to kind of, if we want to get ahead of the game, that's what we're trying to make that at. So I think we do that as a group, so all of our interviews have the same information. That's
what I was thinking.
So each one of us needed to do an interview?
We need to do 5 interviews.
Oh. So pretty much each person on the group should have one, something like that.
Well, we need to, I think in the group meeting, we need to come up with the questions we want to what we want our interview questions to be.
Okay.
And that's next week, right?
Yeah, that's next week, and then it would give you a week to do the interviews and put the project together.
See you, Nate.
So, you guys think we need 5 questions total as a whole group, or 5 questions for each individual in the group?
Each individual.
Okay.
Well, on this interview, there's like 18 questions. I don't know that you'd have to answer all of them.
Because we could each do 5 interviews and make them not too long, and then when we all combine it, it'd be like 2 or 3 pages, maybe 4 pages of interviews with lots of people. I mean, more interviews doesn't hurt, but I don't want to make more work than needed.
Well, I think on our report, we each have to have our 5 interviews on there.
Okay.
Is what this sample has, in week 5 is the one I'm looking at. But each person asked the same question to their 5 people they interviewed, and then they wrote up the interviews. So they wrote them up in paragraph form.
So we just need to come up with the questions.
As a group, we need to come up with the questions, and then we each do 5 interviews using those same questions and write up our interviews, and that's what's in the
that's
report.
So next week we'll just make those questions together next week.
Yeah, so I think the more we know about our product in the coming days, then it helps us. I mean, this one's about Grease Monkey, and so they're like, you had any good or bad experiences with car maintenance? What comes to mind when you hear the name of Grease Monkey? What form of advertisements attract your attention? Those are the type of questions. So we just need to, and that's something we could even do on the Google Doc this week, is each put a few questions on there. And then next week we could just make it succinct.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So tonight, are we supposed to go over the 3 questions you need to ask about your brand? Is that what we're supposed to discuss?
Yeah.
That's what I took.
Because you guys read that, obviously.
Yeah.
That was a lot of.
Pull it up.
You have to really pay attention to point of difference, point of parity, point of this, point. It was good stuff. It just you have to make sure that you're straight on which is which. Unless I'm the only one that felt that way.
And this is under the Project One preparation. It has 6 different questions. Is that what the one you're talking about? And the article of the 3 questions to ask about your brand?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I did not finish reading it. I read the other case study first.
Yeah, because that's due tonight to post, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
The case study one, yeah.
But I guess
Yeah.
so. All these questions are talking about David's Killer Bread, right? On this Project One preparation.
Right. So we read the assignment, and then we base it off of what we know.
Yep, and I'm trying to, so I have both pulled up, the article and the questions. So the first question talks about, has the focus business established a frame or reference? So with the frame.
A frame of reference.
Oh yeah, sorry, the frame of reference, sorry. So the frame of reference is kind of like one of the examples in the article it talks about is separate categories such as Coke, Gatorade, Snapple belong to a soft drink, sport drink, and iced tea categories, but they potentially share the frame of reference that consists of all thirst-quenching drinks. So they're separate categories, but they still fulfill the same principle or product necessity, you know?
Right.
So I would say for our focus business, it's the bread, you know, that the quench for food or for flavor would be a frame of reference, but the different categories would be the different flavors of the bread. What do you guys think?
No, I think their frame of reference is it's like kind of like everybody eats bread, so we're gonna be part of the bread world, but they want to make it be organic and
Yeah, so I put down that it's a healthy alternative that is made with 0 GMOs. And then they're obviously focusing on the healthy side of the market as far as a focus on being organic, healthy. That's kind of what I was putting down.
yeah.
Perfect. I'd stay just close to those then. The second one is, what are their points of parity? Are they leveraging their points of parity? So in the article, this is on page 4 on the right-hand side. So something it's talking about with the points of parity is like meeting the requirement. Take an example of FedEx. The second example is about the Palm Pilots. So the Palm Pilot became the most rapidly adopted electronic device ever. A key factor in the product's success was its point of parity with electronic organizers. So our points of parity for Dave's business, once again, I would say the distinct health and organic ingredients that it supplies, but also it has different styles of bread. It has, I don't know if it's flatbread or thick bread that it talks about, but there's like 4 different styles, and they have long bread. They have different flavors which within each of those different categories too.
Well, and I kind of think like that, the point of parity with this bread is that, like they said, if you talk about a bank, you know you're going to do checkings and savings accounts at a bank, right? And so we have bread. And so we want to make sure that consumers know that they can do anything with our bread that they would do with other brands' breads. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they can make a sandwich with our bread. They can make French toast. You know, you kind of think of the things that you can do with bread, and that our bread satisfies that innate concept that people think about when they think of bread. So that's kind of what I feel like the parity is, because they were talking later about brands like, you think of Gillette and you just think of razors, but they do shaving cream, or, you know, they might have other things. And so you don't want to get too far away from what people think brand is.
Okay. And then I guess the second question is, are they leveraging their points of parity? Or are they using that in the brand?
Sorry guys, I can't stop coffee. I'll just move my phone.
I think so, because like when I go onto their website, everything in the background has different styles of like a meal. They're either spreading butter, they're eating a sandwich, they're frying it, or whatever it is, you know, like they're using those ways of how to use their bread in any style or form to show that it is possible.
Has anybody eaten that bread yet?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't.
I went to a store and they didn't have the one I wanted, but it was like $5.50 or $6 a loaf.
That's why you get it at Costco, because it's a little bit cheaper, but you get 2 loaves. And they don't have the selection.
See, like I want the thin. I want the thin. I'm on this diet thing, and that's what it requires, you know.
Yeah, it's expensive. I don't think it's worth it for it.
So what are the points of difference?
I'd say one of the biggest one is the taste. It's desirable. It's not just bread, you know. It's something mixed with bread. It gets you hooked.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
it's kind
like-
of more of an experience than just grabbing a piece of bread. Like, it gives you all these, like, it makes you think like you have all these added health benefits and that you're supporting the organic movement. It seems like there's a lot of components when you're just eating a piece of bread that you can think of.
So it's kind of like those Pepsi commercials where you're like drinking it and then your hair starts to blow and you get a tan, and but it's
So
that's right. That's kind of what
Yeah.
we're thinking.
Yeah, because they reference the Subway, like the Subway's health benefit that Jared lost all that weight. And so you
Right.
just are going to eat a sandwich and we're just eating a piece of bread, but there's so much more to their brand and their company.
Like you could run a marathon, but most marathoners wouldn't eat that bread. No, I'm just kidding. Or you wouldn't run a marathon after you ate the bread, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that.
I'm not a marathon runner, so I wouldn't know, but I've watched a marathon and I got pretty tired.
All right.
I've
Has
never
anybody
done one.
prepared or created their perpetual map?
No, I have not yet.
I haven't done it for days, but I have done them.
Do you do it on a program or what does that mean?
I just do it on Word and I insert the shapes. I just create like 2 lines like a graph. Or sometimes I go to a PowerPoint presentation and insert a graph and then insert shapes on there
Okay.
where I could type inside of them.
Is
So
that
this
something
one-
that's due this weekend or this week?
Yeah, it's due on Saturday. Is it
Okay.
Saturday? Is that the 3rd?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's due Saturday.
So for an example, for the perceptual map for what we're talking on days, we'd be talking about competitor brands and where they fit maybe high versus low quality and price wise, low versus high price. So days would be like high quality, high price. The potato bread that I eat would be like mid price, mid quality, I don't know, high quality, depending on whose taste buds or whose. And then the dollar bread.
The Walmart brand.
Yeah, Walmart brand would be low quality, low price, something like that.
I don't know. I thought Walmart was good stuff. I don't know.
Anybody
I'm just
lives in
kidding.
Utah, that Grandma Sycamore is to die for. I go there and bring loads home.
Yeah.
I'm from there, and I have to bring it home to South Carolina every time I go visit.
I know my girls are at BYU, and I'm like, "Don't you guys buy this bread?" They're like, "It's so expensive." I'm like, "It's $2.25," and they're like, "Mom, we're college students."
They
So
go
they-
with
I
Walmart.
still I don't care.
That's funny. Anybody thought about our positioning statement, brand positioning statement?
Yeah, so I think that's my part of the project. Write a good brand positioning statement. So I'm working on that. Hopefully I'll have that done by Friday or Saturday.
Okay. Well, I guess we all probably have to turn one in though. So,
Yeah.
but, okay.
At least for that part of it, then you can put it on. I'll put it on there, and then you guys can like chop it up, and at least leave me a sentence or two, so I can claim it.
Okay. Oh, and then here's the interview. Some questions for the interview. So that'll be good.
So is that what we want to do for next week? Is just get our part done and then interview questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
we
think
got to
so.
get assignment done, and then we might as well take whatever we put on this assignment for the question, and then just put it on the Google Doc
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Because it says this is going to help you start building a discussion guide, and that's what's happening next week. Is that discussion guide that we'll build. So
All right.
that works.
Perfect. Hey, does anyone have any questions or need help in their parts?
No, I think I just need more time in the day. If you could add that would be great.
Same here. I'm with you.
Between this and the other 2 classes I got, man. This one's the easiest out of the rest of them, though, so that's good.
Yeah, It is. Okay. Is everyone still good with the group text? Is that good communication throughout the week if there's anything needed?
Yeah, I think so.
That works.
Works for me.
Okay. Perfect.
Do we have to send an email saying that like all of us met or something? So we get participation
Yeah,
points? Or is that for another class?
I think if we can post it on the discussion board.
Yeah, I've been
Dad,
recording.
didn't he say something about emailing?
He made
Maybe.
mention of
He
it
did.
on the announcements or something.
I've been recording this meeting, so I'll post it on the discussion board and I'll shoot an email with our professor in it too. But I'll
Okay.
send that on the school email if that's all right. Well, I'll just send it on our GD email since I have that already set up.
Yeah,
I'll just add.
he wrote, I think it was last week, he said something about, be sure the course content for lesson 4, everything you need to read and review. You and your group members are encouraged to set up a time for Google Zoom. Speed up the process communicating one with another regarding the teach one another assignment. So I'm guessing we just posted on there.
Okay.
It's kind of
Perfect.
generic.
Yeah, I'll do both. I'll post it on the discussion board and I'll send it to him in email with all of us.
That's awesome.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for doing
you.
that.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, guys?
I don't think so. Sounds good. I think that's it.
So don't stress. It's not due till week 6, but we're good.
Work on it. Yeah.
Perfect.
My bad. I thought that was due today.
Well, you did awesome, Victoria. That just means that you can coast through the rest of the week.
Right.
Yeah. But sorry if I panic. If I got anyone in panic, I really thought it was today.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Sounds good.
Okay.
See you guys.
Same place.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Okay. See ya.